Can you pronounce this word? Or this one? What about this one? If you can say these words correctly, your English pronunciation is probably brilliant. And I've got 10 words that are difficult to say for you to test yourself with now. Let's look at this first word again. How do you say this? Colloquialism. Colloquialism. What people often get wrong is the qu sound in the middle. Sometimes people miss out that w and go for colloquialism. You must keep that w sound in there. This word means a local language that is not used in formal situations. It's the words that you're likely to use when you're in everyday conversation with friends, not perhaps at a business meeting. And it's a noun. You could use it in this sentence. I use a lot of colloquialisms when I speak English. How do we pronounce this word? Pseudonym. Pseudonym. There's a slight difference between the United Kingdom and the US pronunciation. In the United Kingdom, it's more likely to be pseudonym, where there's a y sound before the u. In America, that sound isn't there. And this is a fake name to protect someone's true identity. J.K. Rowling published a crime novel under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. How do you say this word? There are two possible pronunciations. First of all, the British English version, which is nauseous, or the American version, which is nauseous. You need to use one of those two pronunciations to be correct. And this word means a feeling that you will be sick, and it's an adjective. I feel nauseous when I go upside down on a roller coaster. How do you say this word? Deteriorate. Deteriorate. Sometimes people have trouble going from one r sound to the next. There are two r sounds in the middle there. Deteriorate. Deteriorate. And this means to get worse, and it's a verb. The weather deteriorates when you get closer to a storm. How do you say this word? Gauge. Gauge. And this has two slightly different meanings depending on whether it's a verb or a noun. In the verb form, it means to work out the amount of something. In the noun form, it means something that measures the amount of something. Could you gauge how much interest there was in the topic? That's the verb. The rain gauge told us how much rain had fallen. That's the noun. The rain gauge is an instrument to measure rain. How about this word? Hierarchy. Hierarchy. The American sound is slightly different because it doesn't have the schwa sound and there's a very slight r sound after the first r. Hierarchy. And this means an organised structure where some have more important positions than others. It's a noun. The large hierarchy in the company meant it took a long time to be promoted into a high position. So be careful with the start and the end of this word. Some people may be tempted to say hierarchy or perhaps hierarchy. Here the CH is more of a K sound. Hierarchy. How do you say this word? Jewelry. Jewelry. Sometimes there's a problem at the end. Sometimes people are tempted to say jewellery. There's no L in there. It's just jewelry. This is probably because the British spelling is different to this, where we have an extra L and E before the RY. But we still pronounce it the same, jewelry. Jewelry is for decorations worn on the body, and it's a noun. She wore a fine piece of jewelry around her neck. Now, this word looks very common, but are you sure you're pronouncing it correctly? Library. Or in America, library. Some people are tempted here to drop that first R and say library. No, library. You need to get the first R in. Of course, this is a place to borrow published documents and media. It's a noun. Most cities have a large library. How do you say this word? Phenomenon. Phenomenon. or in America, phenomenon. And this is something with an extremely surprising feature, or we could use it when you're observing something to exist in nature. For example, earthquakes are a destructive natural phenomenon in many places in the world. Now, the mistake that sometimes people make is to say phenomenon. No, it's n-m-n in that order. What about this word? How do you say it? Remuneration. Remuneration. This is confusing because it's to do with numbers. So in our minds, sometimes we think it's remuneration. Because it comes from numeral. But the order's different. It's actually remuneration. Remuneration. And this is payment received for work done. The job in the city centre comes with an excellent remuneration package. How did you do? Did you get all 10 correct? If you did, brilliant. And if you want to take your English further, you can accelerate your English with my 6 courses in one offer. There's a link in the description below this video. I'm offering 6 courses on advanced pronunciation, advanced grammar, business English, essay writing, a 28-day grammar challenge, and English that you need for qualification, sometimes called academic English. Get that offer by going to the link below this video, or just simply click on it if you'd like to know more.